It was early autumn when Daniel and his friends decided to explore the outskirts of their small town, a place surrounded by endless woods known locally as the Whispering Forest. The name had always intrigued them, especially the stories attached to it. Locals claimed that at night, if you walked too far in, you could hear whispers calling your name, even when no one was there. Of course, Daniel didn't believe in ghost tales. He thought it was just another old legend meant to keep kids from getting lost. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Daniel, his girlfriend Mia, and two of their friends, Chris and Lily, parked near the forest edge. The air was unusually still, the only sound coming from the crunch of dry leaves beneath their boots. A thick mist rolled in, making it hard to see more than a few feet ahead. Mia hesitated, clutching Daniel's arm. "Are you sure about this?" she whispered. Daniel smirked. "It's just a forest, Mia. Don't tell me you believe those stories." They switched on their flashlights and began walking deeper. The further they went, the quieter it became. No crickets, no wind, not even the rustle of animals. The silence was so complete it felt heavy. Then a faint sound broke it. A whisper. It was so soft that at first Daniel thought it was the wind. But then he heard it again, clearer this time, right behind him. "Daniel!" He turned around quickly, flashing his light everywhere, but no one was there. Chris and Lily were ahead of him, laughing about something, and Mia was by his side, her face pale. "Did you hear that?" Daniel asked. "Hear what?" she replied, though her trembling voice suggested she had. They pressed on, trying to shake off the feeling, but the whispers grew more frequent, more distinct, now calling each of their names. "Mia! Chris! Lily!" Chris stopped abruptly. "Okay, this isn't funny anymore." "Who's doing that?" he snapped. But there was no response. Just that same eerie murmur floating through the fog. The group decided to turn back, realizing they had no sense of direction anymore. Every tree looked the same, and the path they came from was gone. As panic began to set in, Lily gasped. "Someone's following us!" she cried. In the beam of her flashlight, a tall shadow flickered between the trees, too quick to make out but human-like in shape. The whispers turned into faint giggles, echoing all around them. Daniel grabbed Mia's hand and ran, yelling for the others to follow. They finally stumbled out of the forest after what felt like hours. Their clothes were torn and their faces pale. When they looked back, the mist had vanished completely, and the woods stood silent once more. Later that night, Daniel checked his phone. He had recorded part of their walk, but when he played it back, his heart froze. There were voices whispering, laughing, and at the very end, one deep, raspy voice said, "Don't come back." 2 weeks had passed since Daniel's terrifying encounter in the Whispering Woods. Though he tried to move on, sleep had become almost impossible. Every night, he would wake up around 3 a.m. to faint tapping sounds coming from his bedroom window. Soft, rhythmic, and deliberate. At first, he assumed it was branches brushing against the glass. But when he looked outside, the trees were still. One night, unable to bear it anymore, Daniel decided to record the sound. He placed his phone near the window and tried to sleep. When he listened to the recording the next morning, his blood ran cold. Amid the tapping, a voice whispered, "Daniel, let me in." The words were faint but unmistakable. Terrified, he went to see Mia and played her the clip. She refused to believe it was real. "It's just your mind playing tricks after what happened in the woods," she said. But when she listened closely, her expression changed. She looked at him with wide, fearful eyes. "That's the same voice we heard in the forest," she whispered. That night, Daniel stayed at Mia's place. He thought distance would help him forget, but even there, things grew worse. Around 3 a.m., Mia's dog started growling at the front door. The growls turned to frantic barking as if it sensed something outside. Daniel got up slowly, grabbed a flashlight, and peeked through the window. There was a figure standing across the street, tall, motionless, with its head tilted unnaturally to one side. Its skin looked pale, almost gray, and it wore what seemed like old, tattered clothes. Daniel blinked, and the figure was gone. But the dog wouldn't stop barking, its fur standing on end. The next day, Mia found muddy footprints outside her front porch. large bare footprints that led straight to the door but didn't lead away. She called the police, but by the time they arrived, the prints had vanished completely, as if wiped away by unseen hands. That night, Daniel decided to confront whatever it was. He returned to his home, determined to record proof. He sat in the dark, the only sound being the ticking of the clock. When it struck 3 o'clock, the tapping started again. Louder this time. Tap, tap, tap. Then a faint voice. "Daniel, I found you." Heart pounding, he turned on the flashlight and ran to the window. Nothing. But when he turned back, something was standing in the corner of his room. Tall, pale, and featureless. Its head slowly tilted as if studying him. Daniel screamed and dropped his phone, the flashlight flickering wildly. The figure moved closer, whispering something he couldn't understand. The next morning, Mia went to check on him. The front door was wide open. Daniel's phone lay on the floor, still recording. The last thing the audio captured was Daniel's terrified breathing, in a whisper that said, "1 down, 3 to go." After Daniel's mysterious disappearance, fear spread through the small town like wildfire. His friends, Mia, Chris, and Lily, were devastated. The police searched for days but found no sign of him, only the phone recording with that chilling final whisper, "1 down, 3 to go." The 3 friends promised to stay together until they figured out what was happening. But staying together didn't help. The nightmares started almost immediately. Every night, all 3 of them dreamed of Daniel standing at the edge of the whispering woods, his face pale and eyes hollow. In the dream, he would lift his hand and point toward the trees. Each night, he pointed a little closer, until finally he was inside the forest, waiting. One evening, Mia received a message on her phone from Daniel's number. "Come to the forest. I need help." Her blood ran cold. It had been weeks since his phone went missing. She showed it to Chris and Lily, who begged her not to go. But Mia couldn't ignore it. "What if he's alive?" she said. Against their better judgment, they all went. The air that night was thick and heavy, the moon hidden behind dark clouds. The forest seemed even more sinister than before. As soon as they entered, the whispers began again. Faint at first, then louder. They weren't calling their names anymore. They were laughing. Lily gripped Mia's arm tightly. "This isn't right. Let's go back," she whispered. But when they turned, the path behind them was gone. All around, the fog swirled, closing in like a living thing. Then Chris froze, staring ahead. "Do you see that?" In the distance stood Daniel, or at least something that looked like him. His clothes were torn, his head hung low, and when he raised it, his face was wrong. His eyes were completely black, his mouth stretched into an unnatural smile. "Mia," it said softly, "you came back." Before they could react, the whispers erupted into shrill laughter. The ground trembled. The trees seemed to twist and move. Lily screamed as unseen hands grabbed her from behind, dragging her into the darkness. Chris tried to pull her back, but she was gone in seconds, her screams fading into silence. "Mia, run!" Chris yelled, but Daniel's figure was already moving closer, unnaturally fast. His voice was no longer familiar, deep, hollow, and echoing. "You shouldn't have left me." Chris pushed Mia away. "Go! I'll hold him off," he shouted. But before Mia could take another step, she heard a horrible, wet crunch, and Chris's scream was cut short. She ran blindly through the forest, tears blurring her vision, the whispers now circling her. When she finally reached the forest's edge, dawn was breaking. She stumbled onto the road, exhausted and shaking. When the police found her hours later, she was muttering the same words over and over. "He's still in the woods, and he's waiting for me."